How much do you know about sexual activities? You see, because of the private and sensitive nature of the subject, people are shy and reluctant to face facts, to confront it, not until something goes wrong with their relationship, either as in marriage or girlfriend, boyfriend. If you sit through and watch this video till the end, you are likely to grab a few information, a few insights that will help you save your marriage or relationship. However, let me welcome you to Putting It Straight. This is a channel that challenges viewers' perceptions, helps them to reconsider their beliefs, the values, and the practices in our daily lives. So, in today's video, we are debunking false assumptions people maintain about sex and sexual activities and their relationships. So, the question in your mind is, what are those assumptions and misguided knowledge that people have about sex, including you yourself? Well, I'm going to tell you just a number of them. There are so many that people do not know, and as a result have lived in this guided state of knowledge, misconception, outright falsehood, and the rest of them. So first one, the first myth about sex and sexual activities is that people don't know what sex is, that it is the most important of all the activities on earth. Are you surprised? You see, after God created man and created everything else, the first commandment God gave man was go and multiply. What does multiplication mean? You do not, human beings are not cassava sticks that you cut and put into the soil. No, it has to go through sexual activity. And so all of us are a product of sexual activity. I wouldn't be here talking to you if my mother and father didn't have intimate relationship and I became the product, whether by preparation or they wanted to have a good time. But the fact is, everybody from the president to the pope to the cripple on the street to the madman, we are all product of sex. Our industries are manned by people. The creativity of scientists and technologists that make the world a better place there, it is produced by human beings. And if human beings weren't there, they wouldn't be. The comfort we enjoy wouldn't be. So you see how important sex is. Now, the second point is that people assume that because both society and God condemn illegal sexual activities, and so sexual activities will stop. The truth is, it just can't stop, in spite of God's laws, in spite of every other thing. Why? Because it is natural. I think in future videos, I'll make a video about the unseen, perhaps unknown laws that govern the universe, our activities. A lot of people don't know. So, sex is also influenced by these laws that you may not have known. That the fact that your father says, do not commit sex, your pastor says, the laws in the books of the country say, doesn't prohibit it having all the same happening. These are things we must know, that willy-nilly sexual activities take place, whether in the open or in the secret, but a lot more in the secret. And it comes to light only when the incident of Equatorial Guinea sex mania comes to the fore. So the myth number 3 is that response to sexual stimuli is based on one's mind, how you raised up and all that. That is false. Response to sexual stimuli is as natural in every human being as hunger, as sleeping, need for rest, need for food, need for shelter. It's a natural thing. In fact, that's how God wanted it, because if it were otherwise, God's purpose of populating the earth wouldn't have taken place. So now, you must know that the Pope himself is not immune to it. That you're a president doesn't mean you are not exposed. You cannot respond. Your body cannot respond to the stimuli of sex, which occur through the senses, through our thought, through what we touch, through what we hear. The only thing is that we have been conditioned throughout our life. We have been indoctrinated to restrain our feelings, to restrain our reactions. Outside of that, it is natural, and given the right atmosphere, circumstance, and everything, sexual urge will take place. And when it is not restricted, it will result in sexual activity. 4. The myth number 4 is that once you're a woman and you're a president, you occupy a high position, you're a company chief executive, a pastor of a church, you cannot make love to somebody other than your husband. You cannot make love to somebody lower than you. That is false. You see, there are so many other things that influence sex and sexual activity. Once a woman sees what she loves, she admires, she wants in a man, nothing on earth will stop her from getting it. There are so many other things that influence one's desire for sex. And particularly in the case of women, once they know you can fulfill that, it's only a matter of time and chance. They will go for it. And these are things we do not want to acknowledge as men in the society. And because we do not acknowledge that, when things like the Equatorial Guinea scandal come up, we look surprised. We get ashamed. No, these are natural things. Do you want examples? It is as old as man and history himself. The classical example in relationship to religion and spirituality is in the book of Genesis. You read about Mrs. Potiphar and Joseph, the wife of a highly blessed man in society. So it can happen. The fact that a woman is so highly placed does not take away the urge. And so what we should do is to be able to manage, to see how we can rein in this so we can live appropriately in society. Myth number 5 is this. It's also a myth that wives of presidents, billionaires, husbands, people believe they do not experience sexual issues. This is completely wrong. The fact that a man has all it takes in the world to keep a woman happy does not rule out the fact that if you fail in your sexual duty, obligation to the woman, if you fail in it, it doesn't mean she wouldn't go for it. It's a question of time, like I said earlier. So when a man, whoever you are, fail in doing your duty, satisfying your woman, you're opening the door for the wife or your girlfriend to seek satisfaction elsewhere, even with your gardener, your messenger. I have been lecturer in the university, so I know and have seen so many of these. My married students come in with their drivers, and whatever the madam does with the lecturer at his home or wherever they drive to, it's a question of conspiracy. The woman treats the driver very well in the hope that he will keep quiet. And yet she goes ahead and does. So it becomes a shock only when situations reveal these things, that what you think is not going on is actually going on. It's much more prevalent, particularly among highly placed officials in our society. Myth number 7 is contrary to what most people believe, that extramarital affairs and broken marriages happen within the first 3 years. Now, this is wrong. Research has shown that while it may be true, particularly these days, that marriages break much earlier, you realize that traditionally, marriages break in relationship to the length of the years of marriage. Why is that so? There is something there, there's a psychology there that needs to be explained. And that is tied up to myth number 7. That most people are unaware that sexual desire in married women grows and develops with their marriage, while that of their husband, the desire, declines. So the question is, why is that so? How does it happen? Stick around this channel and find this out in my next video. So if you have found benefit from this discussion, like it, subscribe to it, and then share with others who might find some use. And of course, while you are awaiting the next video, keep questioning and find out what is true and hold on to that.